in the old videos, he always talked about her having a mind of her own. And I don't even think Will knew that she made the video. I think she made it because that's how she felt. And 2 years in a row with nobody black nominated, I think she felt like she had enough and that she did what she needed to do. Um, was it emotional? Was it out of the blue? Perhaps. But, when you are upset or disappointed, that's how things come out. So I'm not going to put this on because she felt like this for Will Smith so much. But then if she did feel like she was speaking up on her man's behalf, why not? Why shouldn't you speak up for your man when maybe he's not in a position to say everything that needs to be said? Because, ladies, if you have a man that sometimes they find themselves in a bad position and they're not able to speak on it for various reasons, and yet we do. So, at any cost. I thought that Chris's behavior, let me go back there to his monologue, was horrible. I have seen people, and I'm talking about black people, saying he killed it. What? You need to go back and listen to it. I listened to that 3 times, 2 times through, and the other time sort of like breaking it down into bits to just get an understanding of what he's saying. And more than anything else, he was throwing black people up under the bus. No, I've never been a Chris Rock fan. I don't really think he's funny. To tell you the truth, I don't really think he's that funny. And it's a lot of people that I don't think is that funny. I don't think Kevin Hart is that funny. But then you tell me about Richard Pryor or Dave Chappelle or a lot of people like that. Earthquake. I don't know. I think they are funny. So, everybody has their own opinion on that. But I remember, so some people think that Chris could have just stepped down and not do it. No, no, no. He was contracted to do this back in October of 2015, and this is prior to the Oscars So White conversation. So he had already signed a contract to do that, and okay, maybe in your job you could just quit. But he wasn't in that position. He had signed a contract, the check cleared, and he wasn't going to just quit. So he also knows that he'd like to work again. And I think that that was his motivating factor, was self-serving and making sure that he worked again. And tell you the truth, he shot himself in the foot because no matter how much we think that he could have did something different, he did exactly what he had planned to do, and he ended up making black folks look like a fool with what's his name from Saturday Night Live? I can't think of his name. Who just got had in the accident at Walmart? He was in a dress. You had Stacey Dash coming on, making a fool out of herself. And that's what she would do. I will have to do a reading on her. She was very clearly thirsty in terms of finances and wanting fame very bad. So, of course, she would do that. But it flopped miserably. He threw Jada under the bus, saying that she wasn't invited. She wasn't invited. Had you not been doing a dialogue, you wouldn't be invited. What you talking about? I mean, it was very nasty. The part talking about we had more things to worry about in the 60s and your grandma hanging from a tree. What? I'm a strong believer there's certain things that we don't talk about in mixed company. And he broke, for me, all those, I want to say, barriers, rules, whatever. I understand that it's a new world, but he went about it the wrong way. Now, you'll have white people talking about that he was so harsh and everything. Nah. He could have really had a platform to really say some things, and it didn't have to necessarily be comedy. It could have been saying some things in a serious manner or saying some things in a comical manner that made it very clear that whites have left blacks out in Hollywood. That is nothing new, by the way, but he could have said that or something to that effect. Because when you say the racist word to white folks, they automatically offended because they don't see themselves as racist. They see themselves in a light that says this is our country and it's going to be our way and it's the way that we do it. And he just fed into that completely. So I was extremely disappointed. And as far as his birthday, it's February 7th, 1965. So you can imagine that he's 1965, he's 50, okay? And so he's old enough to remember a time in those 60s where, and 70s too even, that blacks really struggled in our own country. White folks want to quick say go back to Africa and then do what? Because most of us are mixed with something because we had the slave masters coming in the quarters on our ancestors. You talk about slavery 400 years. Just the people that were in that were conditioned to that state of mind 400 years, just the way you'd be conditioned to whatever your life and lifestyle is in the 20th and 21st century. So, but he did know enough that this is not appropriate or whatever. He didn't come from some kind of background where he wouldn't. He's more concerned about himself, but he shot himself in the foot. First of all, he looks like early on in his age he liked partnership and balance and harmony because there probably wasn't a lot in the home. There was probably a lot of drama and things going on that took those away. So he was always trying to have that, and even getting married younger than a lot of people. It was a mechanism to escape. In his time right now is a 7 period in his life, and he has studied the art of comedy. It's a time when you're quiet, you have a lot of time for alone time based on your decisions. Things don't move as fast as you want them to, so you have an opportunity to study. And I think he has studied comedy. So I say that to say that he knew what would have really worked. He knew what would have made him look as if he was speaking for black people, and he knew what not to say, and he went with the money, the joke. This year though, he's in a number 9 year. His birthday being February, it just kicked in. A number 9 year is a saying goodbye year. All the things that you want to hold on to, money, career, marriage, has the opportunity to slide away and slip away from you because you're grasping onto it too hard. And I think that's what he did with his career. I think he made a no stand, but trying to be funny, and jokes were flopping left and right. We actually witnessed the death of his career. Now, you may not believe that, but you watch as this year goes on, he's going to be fading away. Also, there's somebody close to him or in his camp or a friend or what have you that he believes that he can trust in, or that would support him no matter what type of foolishness he did. And this person is going to betray him. And I'm not talking about his marriage or his relationship, nothing like that. We know it's coming to an end, and it was working towards an end. Number 9 year, an end. Now, he's supposedly started with some new girl. I saw a picture of him and his mom and this new young lady, but that is a passing thing. Starting something now is the worst thing that you can do, because it's not going to last. She's going to move on. She is in it for, she's a younger girl, nice looking lady, but at the end of the day, when you get with a Chris Rock type of person with he has a snippy nature and a hard head and all those things, and knows everything, and you get with that type of person and he's not respecting you for being a woman or a person or your age or whatever, which will come to pass, you leave that situation no matter how much the money is, because the young women these days know that they can make their own money, and that situation will slip away. I'm not sure where he's moving or living right now, but if he's, I don't know, wherever he lives, he's going to make a major change and completely relocate his location, really wanted to get out of the spotlight, get out the cameras, because since um, this monologue for the Oscars, if you've noticed, he suddenly disappeared. You don't hear him commenting on anything. You don't see him on any shows or TMZs or doing any after the show interviews. He vanished. Why? He knew it was a flop. He expected it to um, be funny and cute. Like his thought was like, I'm gonna make fun of all the racial issues, and by me making fun of it, that's gonna get everybody to lighten up and everything. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. People had big hopes and expectations for him. Black people did, people of color in general, and he didn't come through. I feel like if you are a young person and you're saying to me that a black person, person of color, oh, he killed it, oh, he was so excellent, it was hilarious. First of all, he wasn't funny. That's just the plain and simple of it. I watch these things and these comedy acts all the time, and I say, okay, I'm gonna not resist the laugh. I'm not gonna laugh on purpose, but I'm just going to see if it's funny. But he really was not funny. Um, the the jokes, the treatments toward black was completely distasteful. It seems like to me, and I could be wrong, that when you have somebody black that makes it, he makes it on the back of us, people of color. And once he does, he's gotten to a certain pinnacle, he kicks us to the side. O.J. Simpson, okay? He kicks us to the side. We're no longer needed, and he's hoping and banking on that white dollar is going to take him somewhere. Even Will Smith. Will Smith was supported by black folks watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And the currents, the reruns, everything else. And we really strongly supported him and his music and everything else. And when he got really big, he let us go. And that's the truth. But now, since this situation popped up, um, he's back in front of us again. And we're back loving him again, because one thing we do as black people have a very loving and forgiving heart, sometimes when we don't even need to. Chris Rock, I think he's going to say goodbye um, to big shows. I don't think he will. Well, I know he will never be brought back to the Oscars again, and maybe he didn't want to be. Maybe that's why he acted a buffoon. Um, I don't support people like Whoopi Goldberg that think that's what he should do, and you're hurting him and stuff. We're hurting him by protesting or not watching, but he hurt us first. Girl, bye. Get somewhere. Every time somebody um, does something, some Hollywood person does something that is inappropriate or hurtful, Whoopi is the first one to jump on and say that they're right. So I don't listen to that fool at all. No kind of fool like an old fool. So the following year, not this year, but next year, 17, he's going to have to start fresh. He's going to have to go back to where he came from, his like the New Jack City